Constructicons, transform!
Okay, here's a look at Scrapper in his combined mode for Devastator's leg. And as you could see, this is not really tune accurate. This is more closer to the original G1 toy with the 2 tires showing here and then all the other details I'll point out. But first, let me go over some things with the instructions because there were things I wanted to point out. So first, from Scrapper to combine mode, and things are not really clear in the instructions. So first, you could see the arms and it just has arrows pointing out and it says unlock the arms. That's not really describing it correctly. I mean, if you remember, the forearms here, they tab into the green side hip skirts. That should be purple. And then you need to push them down. And then here, it does tab into the side of his chest. So you need to pull it out at an angle coming down. So these arrows are not going in the right direction. So that's just one thing I wanted to point out. I mean, I could point out like, issues with, every page here. But my main point is the instructions are not really clear. But here I wanted to show you, you could see that the tires on the lower leg of Devastator or Scrapper's arms, they're using the tire. So that's according to them. Yeah, this is the way they intend to have the Devastator's leg. So these are basically only for the robot mode, for that option to have the more tuned look. And so yeah, just to show you, I also took the time to take this off to put it on. And I'm only, I mean, this is, I have to be careful because these little prongs already have stretch marks. But here you could see if you do that, trying to get a tune look, yeah, you have the upper tire here that should be folded in like fans toys. Yeah, so, and it actually looks a little odd this way. So this actually makes more sense and it actually looks more cohesive, consistent. So yeah, just wanted to make that clear. But here you could see aesthetically, I already said this is not really going for the G1 tuned look. Yeah, this is just the way they're designing it. It's kind of going like a fusion between the G1 and like realistic. So aesthetically, there's no right or wrong, good or bad. It's just your preference. It's just making it clear this is not going to have that tune look. But in terms of the engineering, getting it here, yeah, this is where I'm starting to notice. This is where X-Transbots has a lot of difficulty. I mean, what they're trying to do, put the 8 arms down, put the shovel forward, have the legs fold up here. But the way they're achieving it, I'm trying to make it clear. I know now, the difficulty they have, why people are saying their engineering design is bad, because this is where they have difficulty. I mean, you could see how they're trying to stabilize all of these things. And what they end up doing is they start adding more parts and pieces. Oh, we need a little tiny plastic piece here that's going to be hard to get out to lock this in place. And then, oh, the tabs we put in here doesn't really stabilize these arms in place. So we need to do something else. Well, let's add some more parts. Let's add this platform here to stabilize. I mean, I understand that that's what they're doing, and that's not how you problem solve. And like I always said from the very beginning, simple. You want to always keep things simple, and then you slowly start adding. But they just start off really complicated in the beginning because they're trying to add all these things in, like the articulation, the little details here, this and that. They're starting off too complicated, and this is what ends up happening as a consequence. Now, when they're trying to engineer how these things are going to manipulate, fold, and transform, it becomes an issue, and then they don't really know how to fix it, so they start adding more pieces. But anyways, I wanted to really make that clear because, yeah, I think it's helpful to understand why X-Transbots is having the issue. So in terms of engineering, yeah, there's some issue. And as a consequence, the form and function, so you could see the same, I laugh because yes, they are always trying to do all this articulation, but first of all, I did not fully transform this because I didn't want to have any problems, but you are supposed to pull this up to extend it, probably to give the appropriate height next to Mixmaster. And when you do, now you just weakened this stability here. See, now you can see how it's all wobbling because the only thing holding this top and bottom together, and this top part is going to become more heavier, is just this little joint here that they gave you so that you can have this ankle rocker, and you could see it's not really tight, and that's because all the weight up here. And then the other articulation, the ab crunch here, causes more loss of stability. So yeah, this in terms of form and function, this area that functions as a joint doesn't really work so well. And then obviously, here it doesn't work so well. That's basically why they have to give you this platform. I'm not going to go through all the details to explain and point it out by showing you. I mean, you've probably seen it from other reviews, how weak this is. It doesn't really tab in, or it tabs in, but not very securely. So the arms are always folding out. This nice ratchet for the arm is moving, back and forth. And yeah, they needed to stop all of that. And this, by plugging it in here, it prevents all of that. So there's another problem. And then here we're gonna have to come up, and I already told you going over this part, this ratchet, it's a high-pitched sound. That's kind of scares me because of the type of plastic. And I told you, if you want to use this to articulate, you need to manipulate it close to this hinge. But I will say this is a tight joint compared to Fans Toys, which I'll bring out. But yeah, there are a lot of functional issues with this, and like I said many times, and like other people already know, this is not going to work very well for Devastator. But it's still nice to see what it's going to look like. It's still nice to see how they're going to try to tweak little things here to kind of fix the issue. But anyways, just wanted to point that out. So now let's bring in the Fans Toys for comparison and let's do this. So first you could see that Fans Toys is obviously more tune accurate. You know, it has that cylindrical form here. It has these two arms, like these big, you know, blocky pieces that people are complaining. It has the angled here, which actually functions to help stabilize this. The placement of this canopy is higher up above this cylindrical form. So yeah, they definitely, you know, captured the tune aesthetics more accurately than the X-Transbots. And in terms of form and function for Devastator, that's where the context here is Devastator and his leg. You can see that this, look at, this is definitely much stabler. Look at, there's no issues with this. You see, so not only is this more tune accurate, this is more stable. And then in terms of the form and function here, look at, I have to use force to engage that ratchet, as opposed to this one. This is scary, basically. So, you know, they did a better job there with that as well. And then we need to come back up, because I was telling you, I don't think Fans Toys is perfect, because here they did give you this, it's a nice ratchet. It definitely doesn't have that high pitch sound here, but you could see this one, it just easily moves down. So this is kind of loosey-goosey, if you will. And here, this one is much stronger, but I told you it's a little concerning because of the ratchet. So I'm just pointing out that, you know, Fans Toys is not 100% perfect, because this one here is a little concerning to me. But you could see Fans Toys functions better as Devastator's leg. But here's the difference, and that's what I'm always pointing out. This is not a versus, one's better than the other, because that's versus seems to encourage this good, bad, this is better, this is worse, and that's not what this is. This is pointing out the difference. Fans Toys, you know, they focused on the combined mode. I mean, everyone kind of knew that. And as a consequence, their robot mode and their alt mode kind of suffers as a consequence. And it's almost the opposite, because with X-Transbots, their robot mode and alt mode especially, looks so much better than Fans Toys. But as a consequence, their combined leg mode for Devastator doesn't really look and work so well. So hopefully that makes it clear. I'm just pointing out the difference in how and why, because this is not about one's better than the other. There's obviously major difference. Some things, you know, with the leg mode do function and work better than the X-Transbots, but then, you know, robot mode, alt mode, there are things that look much nicer on X-Transbots. But anyways, there's the comparison with that. And so yeah, I don't know what else to say other than the most important thing is, you know, pointing out the areas that are of issue that you need to be concerned with and be cautious. But, you know, and like I told you, for me, it's not, X-Transbots is not going to be my Devastator. But since I am going all in, I still want to see what their Devastator is going to look like. And I'm curious to see how they're going to resolve all the issues I already anticipate is going to happen. But ultimately, they're going to be in alt mode. So with that, let's just transform him back to alt mode and have our final thoughts.
To be continued.